I mean, obviously, there is an influence of nature. You know, parents know who have more than one child, or whether it's more than one child in a family, that they have very different personalities when they got the same parents or they're in the same community. There are inherent characteristics for children. However, we now know that the environment has a huge impact as well. Now, what can we do something about? We can't do something about what children inherit, but we can do something about the environment. So what we have to do is think about what is research telling us about the best environments in which to bring our children up in. And then we have to try and provide those environments. I think nurture matters more because we have some control over it. We have less control over nature. However, there are things like women's health, early feeding, high quality preschool, which can act as protective factors for children who might have some nature issues. So for instance, if children have mild autism, or if they come from a very poor family and they maybe don't have as much good language modeled and so on, then the preschool high quality can act as a protective factor. So our environments, whether they're in the home, the preschool, or the community, or the church, or the temple, have an impact on children. And we have to think about how we maximize those environments to protect our children and to strengthen their development. I think there are people who argue, like Robert Plomin, that 99% is nature. Well, I don't believe that. I think epigenetics is now showing us that that is not the case, and that for many children there can be a really big impact of the environment. Now, there's also been some research to show that working class children who have a poorer environment at home are more susceptible to nurture. Well, there are a lot of reasons why, because parents can be different and they don't realize it. You know, I have 10 grandchildren and 4 children, and 3 of my children have 3 children each. And for the first child, they all behave differently because it's the first child. And for the second child, they not only behave differently, but they also are at a different stage in their career. And for the third child, for some of them, both the parents then were working. Now, we say we do nothing different, but actually we do. We learn from the first child and the second, and we are overprotective maybe of the first one, and then we kind of let go, and then for the third one we don't care, they just go and do whatever. You know, if you have more than one child, that's what happens. And you know, we had that little funny term that in China all children were little emperors, because there was a historical point where people only had one child. So every child was like the first child, whereas in my grandchildren, only 4 of the children are first children, because I have 4 children. The others are second and third. So I think, yes, children bring their own, but the subtle differences in environment, they might go to different preschools, they have different peers that they interact with. And our personalities are very sensitive not only to nature, but to nurture.